All right, I wanted to do a quick trade recap for Friday, September 5th, 2025. Going over the pre-market, looks like I forgot to add a picture. I'm just now realizing that, but the market was at all-time highs. I said it was pretty hard for me to trade. I really can't be short above 605, 6505, which is this level. Market was opening up all the way up here. And then Yeah, I really can't be short above that. If it does break, I'll be willing to look for shorts. And then above 6450 or 6520, I'm so sorry. I was looking for possible longs, which was kind of just this VWAP slash overnight bounce level. If there was some possible signs of buying, maybe on the dip here that bounced, I would maybe be looking for some longs. Yeah, but so the market opens up extremely choppy. Um, really doing nothing for a while, and then we kind of get this slow sell off. And at this point, I'm watching this 6505. I just want to see the reaction. Do we break strong? Do we break um, with aggression, or do we bounce? And I was really watching the 6505, which was that level, into 6502, which was this pre market low. So just a kind of down there as well. So I didn't really see this as the break yet. Um, But we'll get into the book map on that. That happened right at around 10:15, just after. So this selling, I don't really feel like messing with that, but it trickled down here, and then you can see the volatility kind of starts to pick up from 10:14 to 10:20 ish. Like these candles start to get bigger, and I saw a lot of aggression coming in at that point in time. So the first setup I was watching for, which I didn't get into, was that 6505 break and retest. There was also a possible passive seller there by this heavy delta, so I was looking for on a break of this level for a nice pullback into it to then get short. We got a pullback into the 6502s just about to here. Could have maybe saw this as a trapped buyer that failed, but I really wanted a little bit more pullback, and it made me super emotional to miss that and then have the market dump. Um, but I stayed true to my plan. I took what I didn't take a trade that I didn't feel confident on, and it ended up working out. So next level we're watching is this 6490, which you can see it best here on the 4 hour, kind of like a line of least resistance for if we break this. I think a dump into this demand zone is very likely. So we get a break. All right, so we start testing this level. We get a break. At this point, I'm not really too sure about it yet. We're only a few points below the level. Kind of retest, get a nice little dump again. At this point, we've sold off a little bit more, and I am now willing to look for um, ways to possibly get short again to get into that demand zone. And here was my key level I was watching. So right here at, we have this key level at 6405, rejects here, and you can see on this rejection and on this initial break, right above 6490 at 6492, there's this really heavy ask that comes in on this pullback and really acts as a seller, sells off. We retest again and sell off, further aggression. This is looking weak to me. We get an aggressive pullback, which kind of slows down, gets exhausted below this level. And when I start to see a little bit of selling come in here, I hit the market and I sell. Um, I believe entry was at 89. So really just as soon as these start to slow down and a little bit of selling comes in, I'm in with my stop loss above um, that 90 level. So I was really viewing this heavy offer as a passive seller that came in on defending this aggressive buying, defended this aggressive buying, and then this bind got exhausted below it, and we get a really quick pump down. Um, and I ended up getting out a good deal of my position just around 2R. Um, and then I really didn't get much out of this in terms of my final target, but with the way the market was responding, that's fine with me. These first scale outs um, were all around 2R. I gotta be honest, the market dropped a little bit quicker than I anticipated, so I got a little bit antsy and um, didn't fully have a good target plan down yet, but it was really just 2R in demand. So I get out two-thirds of my position there. We start to retest. On this move down, I trail a stop, gets taken. And then on this low of daybreak, I really think we're going to start pushing into demand. And I see my trade go from over 10 points in profit to, um, getting pretty close to stopping out really quickly. So when this candle starts breaking down, at this point, I'm trailing my stop because I think that there's a good chance we just reverse and push up, and I don't want to have this go all the way to break even on a Friday. So that gets taken there. Unfortunately, we bump down right after, and then a few candles later, we end up hitting demand. But I still got over 2R on this trade, so there's nothing to be complaining about there. Um, just other days would have hit, could have been a little bit more patient. I definitely will review this. But look at how choppy this move into demand is. Usually on these least resistance plays, especially if you get the start of the move like that, like you'd expect it to just kind of dump in there. And especially on this move at 10:35, when it didn't, when that move didn't really get much continuation, that's just, I don't know. It's just not looking too keen for me to stay in. And I was already out by that one, of course. But yeah. So that's a trade for me today. Very patient on that. Good conviction. Saw this weakness in the market, had a good target and a possible setup that was happening. Thought we could easily get a dump into that level. Um, yeah, we had a um, passive seller there defending. But yeah, that's it for today. See you next week. Peace.